Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I am your host and keeper, the Harry Channel, and I'm not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be Della, but let's get some F's in the chat for Della's internet. And yeah, so we're just here in an impromptu manner, hanging out, doing stuff. We'll probably spend a lot of time talking about anime. I mean, I don't watch anime, but I don't mind talking about it. That's a long running joke. Yeah, and music or books or hobbies or whatever you guys want to talk about. Whatever interests you guys. And chat, if you have any questions for me, this is a good time to ask. Other than me doxing myself or somebody else, hell, ask me some technical questions. You get free IT advice. I don't really care. Anything's on the table for tonight. Hi, Serenity.
Hello. Geodes, what? Why?
He's an angry baby.
It looks like it looks like a really old man who's pissed, but he's tiny. Like
it's the face of someone who's been on the inside for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Geodes.
Hi.
And joining us tonight is Mr. JackGunski, despite what it says.
No, says I am not JackGunski, Mr. I am not Delahazed.
Okay, okay, fine. Hey, look what I'm about to do, Jack. Oh, no.
I believe that's a fuck you.
Now you're just a big, white, angry eyeball. Let's see. Hey, Dante. Dante, I'll happily throw you the link if you want to join us. It's totally fine. Just DM me.
Just understand.
Let's see.
Anime, we may get in a fight.
Costin, Serenity, you're here. Dante, Costin, Geodes, Johnny. Awesome.
Yeah, Keever Dam's here too, I think.
Keever Dam. Nice. Sweet. All right. So where do we begin? Because this is weird for me. It's like doing stuff without a net. I do not have any kind of plan for this. I didn't even know we were doing this until about 30 minutes ago. So
oh, cool.
Why don't you tell me about what's new in your life, Jack?
Just I don't know. Been few weeks back I started up the game stream again. Was pretty happy about that. And yeah, today I did mostly panic about not having any guests, as I do whenever I have a game stream. And I also watched part of The Big Short.
So tell me about this game stream. I think you asked me to be on it at one point, and I'm just working all the time.
Yeah,
but you sort of explained. So what takes place during the game stream again?
Well, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it since I view it kind of. Well, I suppose it's not competing anymore. All right, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't even play.
I opened the door.
Don't even laugh.
Don't even laugh. It's called Quippers United. We play Jackbox games. Have you ever played Jackbox games?
No.
No. Okay.
Is that like You Don't Know Jack? I played that.
It's by the same. It's by the same people who made You Don't Know Jack.
Because that used to be super fun, but that was mostly just kind of a trivia thing.
Yes. However, in this thing, they have many different games. So I suppose the premise of them is that they're like a game show, and that you have multiple players. You know,
Murder Party's the most one that's like a game show. Because that's my favorite one from the Jackbox stuff. I love Murder Party.
But like the other thing about them is that because of the revolutions that have happened since the 1990s, now you can play the game over a smartphone or over your computer, and
only one person has to have it. Not everybody has to have it.
Yeah, only one person needs to own it. That would be me. I own all of the party packs very deliberately.
And so do you stream this over like StreamYards or OBS or?
I stream it over OBS. Because there's a room code involved, and I want to cover up the room code so that the audience can't see it and get randos in the games, because early on I discovered having randos playing is kind of a problem, because they might just be like, oh, I typed the Jackbox and oh, I'm very bored with this game, I'm gonna cut out early, and then we have to wait for the timer to run out on everything, and it off balances the game terribly. So I have to have 8 players because technically I could have fewer, but it also off balances the time schedule. Because most of the games, if you have 8 players, run about 30 minutes, and I try and get it to be around 2 hours.
Well, we get into these kind of meta discussions about streaming, like how do you actually pull it off? Man, it's really hard because you're just a bunch of volunteers, right? And it seems like we spend an inordinate amount of time worrying about audio. It's like there's always the one person who's got like the shitty audio.
Oh hell yeah!
Every time.
And for me, it's also a little bit different because I have to make sure that everybody is receiving the audio, and the platform I use it's kind of like what Google Hangouts used to be, and what Zoom is doing a shitty job at today. It's called Jitsi, and it's basically like Google Hangouts, but it's free and it's open source, I believe, and it's pretty high quality, especially considering that it's free and open source.
Hey, howdy, Addie.
Nice.
Let's see, Addie's here.
Yeah. Hello, sir. I'm on team.
It's because it's giving me a complex because StreamYard is telling me that there's one person watching this, and so I'm trying to ignore that number because
YouTube is saying one watching now too.
Yeah,
it's
and yet the chat is telling me something entirely different. So,
well, it's because it doesn't count the people who have wrenches as viewers. So the only person it's counting right now is Dante.
Sweet.
Well, no, see, because I'm in the chat too, and I deliberately asked myself to get unwrenched for this very purpose because I wanted to see if it. I think it's just YouTube. I think they just have a shitty counting metric.
Well, we got 5 likes so far.
I think YouTube kind of sucks balls.
They have too many wrenches in the equation.
Yeah, whatever. I
Also,
don't care.
thank you,
I'm just going to
Peter,
ignore.
for
I should
spelling.
just if I actually didn't like this monitor, I would just get a little piece of tape and put it over that part.
Also, I don't really care for the wrench no state idea because what happens is a new person comes in, they're like, hey, Minions of the Zoo, what's this all about? Everybody has a wrench. The implication being that everybody is part of the in-group and you're not. And so I think that kind of frightens people away from a show, which is why I asked to be unwrenched because I don't want people to get that impression about this place.
Were you having performance anxiety issues about the wrench? Were you afraid that you were going to have to ban people and then?
Oh no, I never do anything.
Just go, oh my god, I can't work my mouse. Oh, and they were counting on me.
I never do anything with a wrench. I've banned people maybe like once or twice. I don't really. I just don't bother with it. I don't care. Some guy comes in with spam. I mean, sure, yeah, I'll ban a Russian bot here and there, but other than that, I don't care.
Yeah. Nice. So, what have you been up to in the last 24 hours, Serenity, since we last spoke?
Played video games. Watched a new anime. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I have to process it.
Which one?
Oh shit! Now
is it that weird martial arts thing?
No, it's like I'm watching. I like to, when life gets stressful, I like to watch slice of life animes. So
you see, as like somebody who's old and probably should just stop watching anime, it's just sort of like I'm old and I should just stop because I should have outgrown it. But it's just something I've always done. All I'm noticing is that like the slice of life stuff becomes less relatable as my life dwindles and slips away. So I just don't. That's the one kind I just kind of can't watch. Go on.
Akiba's sailor uniform. It's okay. It's a little weird, but not in a like. It's just. Oh, hi, functional. It's just a little different. My Dress Up Darling's really good though. That one's really good.
It looked a little strange, like it could kind of go either way.
Dress Up Darling's not too bad. Like I like how they're kind of touching on stuff so far, and they didn't do the trope of the popular girl's a hateful bitch or anything like that. She's not dumb, but she's not super smart, but she's not hateful. She doesn't degrade anybody. She doesn't treat anybody like dirt. She's just a otaku who's not fully owning up to it, and it's great. But Akiba's sailor suit, is like a weird one about going to school, and it's an all-girls school, and her mom makes her sailor suit, but they don't realize that the uniforms have changed. So this is like a Japanese schoolgirl sailor suit. That's what I mean for people who don't understand what I'm talking about. But I figure most people in the chat know anime. So she starts her first day in what her mother wore, when the type of uniform her mother wore when she was in school, but that's not the uniform anymore. So it's this whole thing about how that's the reason why I said it's weird. Like it's touching on some weird stuff, but at the same time, let me try to say this without being mean. The Japanese because they have a very different way of looking at things than Westerners do.
Mm-hmm.
To me, her paranoia isn't weird, but they're trying to make it seem like it's weird. I don't know. And that's where the kind of the translation, hi, Mr. Adam, makes it a little wonky, because some stuff doesn't translate if you don't know the societal breakdown of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a beautiful anime. Like, it's beautifully made. Like, it gives me slight Studio Ghibli vibes, but not hardcore. But yeah, that one's really good. I'm probably going to start watching Gundam Wing again at some point, just because I love that one. But yeah, those are the ones I'm in right now.
So I saw this thing today, and I actually have to say, for a Crunchyroll original, it's not terrible. And something that's associated with Cartoon Network, it's actually surprisingly not terrible. I kind of felt like I was watching a decent live-action classic martial arts thing, the way it started out.
It's based on the video game for PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, considering that it's based on a video game, it's actually surprisingly not terrible. I was like, I'm actually looking forward to this next week, because there's so many things in this that usually are signs that it's going to suck, and it doesn't. You know, it's like Cartoon Network suck, Crunchyroll originals suck.
Yeah,
you know, but it's good. It's actually solid. It may fall apart, but I totally recommend this if you're in the mood for something that's kind of action martial arts with some sort of spiritual magical thing kind of spun into it.
Well, I think Sega and Elation, they're older companies in Japan. Obviously, Sega is, but Elation is too. I think they're the main overseers of it, and I think Crunchyroll and Cartoon Network just requested it and are the distributors. So that's how you know it's going to be good. At least there's a chance.
When you see a Crunchyroll original, it's like, what is the most inoffensive thing that we can create for our audience of mostly spazzes?
Hi, Guardian Spice. It's awesome.
And it failed miserably. But considering the fact that Crunchyroll is now owned by Funimation, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I'm nervous because I don't want the wall of shit to enter Japan.
Okay, here's the thing that has to be understood. There's a lot of shitty anime in Japan.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's been the same kind of shit we've been dealing with here in America. It just doesn't take off either. So it's one thing that has to be understood. Every country is dealing with the same shit that America's dealing with. I know some people like to think they're not, but they do. It's just because it doesn't get popular, Funimation doesn't want to spend the money on translating it and bringing it over. Same thing with Crunchyroll, but now there's one and the same. Hi, Assassin, and Cannibalistic Wizard, and everybody. But so it's one of those. Because I have family in Japan because they're in the military, and they'll send me pictures of just some of the most random, horrible shit. And they were like, "Look at this shit," and I was like, "That anime's 20 years old. That shit's been there for years. Let it go."
So what about this? Nice, Jack. That's nice. So, does anybody know anything about Redo of a Healer? I'm not familiar with this one.
I was gonna say,
I watched the first 3 episodes, as I recall. It's a very dark adaptation of kind of like an older premise. The long and short of it is you have a healer who is found by this kingdom, they and considered one of the heroes, but because of his birth and because of his ability, which is considered the weakest ability, he's treated very horribly. And at the very end, after I almost like I guess what was like 5-10 years of warfare.
No,
with
I
the
know what
demons.
this is.
Yeah. He manages. One of the things they did was they heavily drugged him into just so that they could do whatever they basically wanted with him. I'm not saying anything more than that, but and he had managed to overcome that particular addiction as well as the effects of it. So at the very end of the battle, when they defeat the Demon Lord, he grabs the artifact that the Demon Lord had, which allows you to... It's kind of like a time reversal / wish to a certain extent.
It's kind of an isekai in a way.
Yeah, basically. And so he rewinds time by about 10 years, but allows for certain conditions to be met for him to remember everything that happened previously. And but not only that, he also remembers how to use his ability to the fullest, which when it turns out when you use the ability to the fullest, it is very overpowered. And because he's been mentally more or less broken for the last decade, even when he rewinds time, he's still kind of not quite right in the head, and he begins a long campaign of revenge and making sure that these people suffer the way he suffered. So
there's a lot of suffering.
Yes.
Yes.
So
there is a censored and an uncensored version of this anime.
Yes.
You have been warned.
So
I do not normally give
Hold on,
trigger
Jack.
warnings. I legit do not. There's things that happen in this anime because I ran across it by mistake and saw the uncensored version. Never doing that again. And just be careful because Japan doesn't have as much of a filter for it. It's dark.
Yeah,
Like,
we love them for their lack of filter. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, the revenge and trope thing. I mean, Shield Hero, for example. Oh, beautiful. Did you guys see that one?
Is there another season to that coming out anytime soon?
Yes.
There is, but I won't lie to you. I have very low hopes for it because the central conflict of season 1 was just such a massive driving force and made it so much more interesting, and it's just gone now, and I'm not sure how it's going to progress.
Which one is this? Sorry. Or
it's the one where it's the isekai where the guy gets transported and then immediately he's delegated to what's viewed as the most useless role amongst the group.
Gotcha.
And then,
Shield Hero.
And then the lady, the princess, accuses him of having his way with her, and then he's just completely exiled from the country, basically. And he goes out and just and he fucks shit up.
Well, wasn't one of the reasons why also that got really big too was because the Wokists attacked it?
Yeah,
well?
the Wokists attacked it in a major way, and
Why?
then basically, keep in mind this is America, so the people.
No, I'm sitting here playing that series back in my head. What possibly was the? Oh, was it because that they didn't believe?
Yeah,
they didn't
woman.
listen and believe and just
Believe
kill
all
him
women.
based on her say so. Is that why?
Well,
pretty much.
the thing is that
Women don't lie, Harry.
Well, I think I know what you're going to say. The thing was, go ahead. I want to see if I'm right.
When it was released, because they didn't bother to look into it because the entirety of the manga's out, I believe. So the entire series on manga wise is done. So, but they were only seeing the anime as it was getting released in Funimation like once a week. So when she accused, they assumed that she was like, no one's going to make up a line about her falsely accusing, which was a dumb thing for them to do because that storyline's been done I don't know how many times by even in Western media. But they jumped to that conclusion and then they basically got bitch slapped into the next decade because it got found out that no, she did lie.
Yeah.
She lied hard.
No. I don't think it's even that. I don't even think it's that far. I think it's that they don't want to perpetuate a narrative that women lie. They want to perpetuate a narrative wherein women are incapable of lying.
I've met women, and I can assure you that some of them lie.
It doesn't matter. Sense doesn't matter in this case. Logic does not matter. It just matters, how does this pertain to the narrative? Does it fit the narrative? And if it doesn't matter how realistic or not realistic it is. It needs to go.
Yeah, mercifully, most women don't. But what they're saying is that the idea that that's even part of the storyline is offensive. I keep forgetting how fragile these people are.
Yeah,
because there's things that have upset them in the past, and every now and then I just go, oh yeah, I got completely blindsided because I don't think like these people.
Yeah, you think like a sane person.
Normally.
Well,
a bit neurotic, but generally sane.
So am I the only one here who's watched Jujutsu Kaisen?
No, I've
watched it.
Okay. I liked it. I don't know how you all feel.
I don't know if I've seen it because I'll be honest with you, I can't keep up with the names of half the shit I've seen.
Jack, let me help you. Let me help you, Jack. What they're doing is everybody wants to basically have like the anime that you can put on autopilot that just generates money, right?
Yep.
They just want the next Dragon Ball. They want the next Bleach. They want like 400 something episodes with like super mecha Aizen coming after everybody. Just no, forget it. They want to do that. And so you end up with crap like, sorry if this is your favorite thing, but I mean, Black Clover, very little action. It's not to my taste. Because I know I shouldn't offend people about their animes and stuff. I just find the pacing of something like Black Clover to be really bad. It drives me nuts. But they want to make that. They want to make that. And Fire Force wants to turn into something like that, but it's too well made. See, that's their problem. It could work forever because you've got all the different teams and stuff. The trouble is they actually put effort into it, so they can't just churn out, Toei animation levels of stuff. Sorry, I'm going to shut up.
See, no, because I watched Fire Force and I'm just not into it. I don't know. I see every individual part and I say I should like this.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
And that happens.
Real quick, Harry, I think he actually does.
What?
I think Johnny does want to be on.
Yeah, I'm looking for a DM from him, and that's I'm not seeing it. Send me one in Discord, dude. I'll do it.
But I like Fire Force.
If you're sending it to me on the Twitter, that's why it's not working. I don't think I've even logged into Twitter for about 2 months, and I can't tell you how happy I am.
I agree, Cannibalistic Wizard. I agree.
As far as those other shows go, like Black Clover, Naruto, Dragon Ball, they have their place. They're almost like they're
generational icons almost in a weird way. Like Dragon Ball with my age group.
Not even that. I watched the original Dragon Ball from start to finish. Not the whole continuation, not like Dragon Ball Z, but the original Dragon Ball, over 100 episodes, and it was entertaining. It was relaxing. It's sort of like it's like the bubble bath of anime.
It's like an after
you just
school
relax
anime.
into it.
It's like a thing you watch when you come home and you just want to unwind for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And you get a peanut butter sandwich or some Totino's pizza rolls from your mom or whatever, and then you just watch shitty anime after school. It's that kind of anime.
Precisely.
Yeah.
I also like
Hey Johnny.
Hello.
Hola.
Is there anything you want to say about what we've already talked about? Sorry for not letting you in.
Black Clover is the best piece of artwork I have seen in the millennium. I'm just kidding. No.
I was about to say you're being sarcastic as fuck.
That thing's got more filler than a school lunch hot dog.
I was gonna say it's very Bleach. And that it hurts me it hurts me to say it because Bleach is like it was my start into the anime genre. Naruto was the gateway drug that my stepson got me in with, and Bleach was my hook. So
which brings me to ask everybody, what was your first anime that you remember that struck a chord that started the drug obsession?
The one that got me into it, because I had seen anime before that I wasn't into at the time, but the one that got me into it was the American version's called Case Closed. Japanese one is Detective Conan.
Detective Conan. Yeah, I remember that.
And I saw that when I was still in like middle school, I think it was early middle school, and I was blown away. It was on Adult Swim at the time. I was blown away because I had never seen like bloody death portrayed in a cartoon before, not like that at least. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was amazing at the time, and it just instantly got its hooks in me.
Yes,
not
Vincent,
wrong.
You are very correct there.
That's not hard, Vincent.
The only thing about Harry Potter is that some of the humor surrounding it is good. I do remember one stupid Harry Potter joke, which was you're talking about Harry Potter slams, and I think it was Yo Mama's so fat her Patronus is cake.
Yes, I remember that here.
I love that joke so much. That is the extent of my joy with Harry Potter. Sorry, continue.
No, sorry.
I was about to say, what was yours, Geodes? What started yours?
So,
hi, Jack.
As far as what got me started, I was in college, and I had roommates who were watching Code Geass. I started watching that to kind of keep up to speed with them because I wanted to hang out with who I viewed at the time were cool kids. And then later on I decided to sink my fangs into Naruto, and I made it all the way until and you know what, spoiler, if you haven't watched it yet, too bad. You've been
had
out
plenty
of
time.
Is when Obito was revealed as being the masked man. And I kind of just hit this point where I'm like, I don't want to continue. I can't force myself to do it anymore. And so I just kind of moved on to other stuff after that.
I will definitely say with Vincent's To Your Eternity was a sleeper for me because it just kind of popped up in my. I'm like, okay, the description caught me. We'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, but I will say, as far as one of the series that I think the series that I think is in my number one spot still is, I believe, it might not have the impact it does now, but as it did when I first watched it, but was Anohana, the flower we saw that day. It's a one season, like 12 episode series. It's basically a cross between a coming of age story and overcoming grief. It's kind of a slice of life. So.
Harry.
I never. Oh, sorry. Harry.
Well, there's like the first anime that I ever saw, which didn't really strike a chord because it was come home from school and they would be playing what they called Star Blazers, which was rebranded in English Space Battleship Yamato.
Yeah.
I've actually watched the live action movie version of that and kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, the live action movie is really good.
Yeah, it's actually
one of the few that's good.
I had to go out of my way too. I had to get a non-US region Blu-ray and finagle some way to play it, all that sort of stuff. And I wasn't, at least after all that effort, I wasn't disappointed. It was actually good fun. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. But probably the first anime that was like actual anime, not like adult animation. So not like Peter Chun type stuff, not any of that American stuff that really isn't anime, right? Yeah. I think we agree that things like the Max and Eon Flux and all that stuff isn't really anime.
Yeah, great.
Okay. It was the movie version of Akira. And that was the first thing that I saw. And then there was a long gap of nothing. After that, there was just no anime. And then the stuff started coming on like Adult Swim when it was good. So you'd get like Gungrave, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, all that kind of stuff. And I can't even remember which thing was first, but it was that kind of stuff that got my attention.
Adult Swim, I think, did that for a lot of people in America.
Yeah,
I think that. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, ironically for me, the first time I ever saw an anime was not on Adult Swim. This was back during the old days of sci-fi, back when it was SCI-FI. They used to have anime Saturdays. And that was the first time I ever saw the Vampire Hunter D movie. The very first one. But I didn't know it was anime at the time. And then, yeah, Toonami. Toonami was the big thing. But, and then I also saw 8-Man, which was another one. I saw Kashan. Because these were all the movies. And I didn't know they were anime. I didn't understand what they were. If you want to have a trip and you're high on anything, look up Robot Circus. It's the weirdest fucking thing in shorts.
You want you're high and you want to watch something, try Dead Leaves.
Well, the thing is with the Robot Circus, it's tiny little anime shorts that are range anywhere from very, very sweet and cute about first love, and there's no talking in it, to like really random ass weird things. Like, but the first anime I ever got into was Ronin Warriors, which used to play on Fox, where I'm from. And it used to be Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon. Those were the things. But Ronin Warriors I got more into, and then when I got cable, started the thing of Trigun, Cowboy Bebop. I always preferred Samurai Champloo over Cowboy Bebop. That's
See, I'm the other way around. I think Champloo's great, but Bebop is something special.
Yeah, and I'm the way, I think the way you are the opposite way. Like to me, Samurai Champloo's amazing, but Cowboy Bebop was also lightning in a bottle kind of moment too. It's not my favorite because I don't like the ending. Because I'm one of those people who doesn't like that type of ending. I understand it fits the story and it's where it should go, but I still don't like it.
There's one thing that happens in fiction which I hate, and I don't care what kind of fiction it is. When characters stop behaving the way they're supposed to. When something goes out of character. I don't want to see Superman get hit by lightning and switch powers with Lois Lane. I don't want to see somebody just randomly start betraying people and find out that they were a Hydra agent. I don't want any part of this. I don't want any of this crap where suddenly the people, to make the story work, they have to take some character and turn them into something that they're not.
Yeah.
It's irritating. And I almost say second thing is almost a misuse of time travel. It's like, just shut up and stop using time travel as a MacGuffin for your story because you're pissing me off.
Very few people do time travel correctly.
It's really, really hard to do time travel and not have it suck.
The only one that comes to my mind of someone who did time travel really actually correctly with like no continuity errors at all would probably be Primer.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it. Is anybody else?
It's kind of known for being the quintessential low budget sci-fi movie. It was made for $5,000 and that was mostly spent on the camera. And
that's like half of what they spent on Birdemic, I think. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think the two people who wrote it were like engineers or something like that. And it is the way that time travel works in it is very internally consistent, because it doesn't happen like the Time Machine, for example, where you flip a switch and you go back 1,000 years. It actually happens linearly. You get in a box and you wait for 8 hours and you go back in time 8 hours.
Well, that's no fun.
Well,
that's more like time travel, but via like a gondola at Disneyland, where you just move about 3 miles an hour on a cable.
I'm usually a fan of time travel only when it's a recursive loop. I hate time travel in all their cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dragon Rise of Pern does a pretty good job, but in terms of that's just a book series. But if you want a movie, I mean, it's not an anime movie, but the only one I can really think of that does it well, and it's why I'm not a big fan of any sequel after it, is the original Terminator. So, yeah.
So Johnny wanted to introduce a topic, and I'm not sure I understand the topic. So why don't you introduce it, Johnny?
Well, it's just a potential one. It's because I'll usually come up with something, and then by the time I get to introducing it, I've already forgotten what it was.
Well, you wrote "Will they? Won't they?" Are we talking about Sam and Diane from Cheers? That's how old I am. I'm not sure.
Well, I absolutely. It's one of the tropes in
You're
slice
killing
of life
Gunski,
animes.
so I love this. Sorry, go on.
It's the trope in slice of life animes that just I fucking hate them.
I hate that trope in everything, not just anime.
Well, absolutely,
everything.
absolutely. Like if you're gonna have something around a relationship, just get it done. Like just get it done in the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then like, oh, god damn it, just get it done and get it over with. Like, there's one that I just watched. I watched the first 4 episodes, and then I'm like, or no, I didn't watch the first 4 episodes. I watched the first 2. As Toradora, something like that. It's on Netflix. I watched 2 episodes, and I'm like, I'm gonna skip to the end and see what happens here because I can already tell. These 2.
Oh, okay. I know the one you're talking about now. Okay.
These 2 people who are like supposedly like these like big old badasses, and they bump into each other, and they both have crushes on each other's best friend or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, all right, now watch. They're gonna do something, and they're gonna fall for each other. And I went to the last episode, and that's exactly what happened. I'm just like, you just wasted. I just wasted half an hour, watching this bullshit, and I'm already done with it.
I actually like Toradora, because I like how they did it, because that one legitimately, because I've always watched slice of life animes, so I can usually tell when, 1, who the actual pairing is, and 2, whether anything will actually ever happen with it. So it's one of those things, as long as it gets there, I like it. And Toradora, because it's that type of anime, and that trope's existed forever, where it's like, I'm going to make you fall in love with I'm going to help you fall in love with my best friend, blah, blah, blah. We all knew they were going to fall for each other. We all knew it was going to get there. It was a matter if it got there and how it got there. And I thought it was cute, but that's me.
One trope, I'm not usually a fan of slice of life animes because I find that usually nothing happens in them, and
that's what's great.
And I like plot. I enjoy plot in the things that I watch. But one type of show that I have enjoyed as far as the romance related anime has what's it? Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, I liked that show a lot, and I also like I'm currently watching it. Nagatoro. If you've heard of that one.
Don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
I just finished that one. See, that one's kind of different because it's definitely a will they. It's just a matter of when will they.
Yeah. But the joy isn't so much in wanting to see this thing happen. It's the character interactions. The joy is in just watching people interact with each other.
Actually, there is one that is it is a will they won't they, but it's actually because of the way that the story's going, it actually is pretty good. And that's is it Kumi Can't Communicate?
Isn't that a spin-off or something of Nagatoro?
I have no idea. But pretty much the main character has a crippling social anxiety to the point where she just can't talk.
Yeah.
But she's like she's held in such high regard that people just think that she's just being cool.
Yeah. Dante knows that show, so he'll give us the answer in a moment.
Comey Can't Communicate.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's from Viz. Well, not technically from Viz, but yeah, it's under Viz Media. Oh, goody! It's licensed by Tencent. Not watching that one.
What's that mean?
China.
Oh,
not just good China, like kind of evil China.
Yeah, Anything that has the 10-cent logo on it, don't touch it.
Think
You can't.
10 cent
10
is
cents?
think EA in Chinese form, and you kind of get an idea of what 10 cent is.
Oh, honey, no. It's worse than EA. It's worse.
I was just trying to come up with an example.
Imagine the CCP as a small bird with its mouth open, and Tencent as a bigger bird with a worm shoving your money into its mouth.
Yeah, that's 10 cent.
You might as well be funneling. Money into the CCP to buy equipment to oppress the Uyghurs. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Well, my anime group pirates anyway, so because we're bastards.
I watch it for totally legitimate means. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think Harry and I are probably the only ones here. Well, maybe Johnny, who actually watch anime the legitimate way.
No, I watch it all legitimately.
Yeah, I refuse to pirate. I refuse.
Well, you guys are just good people then.
I plead the fifth.
I have. The problem is that with the R stuff is that I know myself, and I know that if I start doing the R stuff, I will start to consume stuff that's terrible just because I can. So me doing stuff behind paywalls is better because then it makes me go, do I actually want to consume this and give my money away? So it stops me from just like watching crap. There's a lot of stuff I refuse to watch because I'm just like, I'm not in there. I don't want it.
Well,
So
when it comes to watching crap, I still feel guilty about. I'm not sure how I coerced you or tricked you into watching just some really bad anime videos.
Yeah, I was about to say that was Geodes. That was not me.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I'm not even sure how that played out, but at the end of it, you suffered through 12 episodes of some of the worst crap ever.
I did.
That was your own.
You went the distance, man.
What shows?
Conception.
Yeah, Conception. Who doggy?
Conception might be the worst sort of harem anime thing I've ever seen. It is terrible.
Let me see if I can read some of the title
unspeakably
descriptions
bad.
on it.
Yeah,
unspeakably
read 'em.
awful.
Can you give me some sort of information?
Geodes is going to take
qualify?
care. Geodes is
I'll
going to
do
give
better.
you that. He's going to fulfill your wish now.
I'll do you one better. I'll read you the description that straight from the horse's mouth.
Oh dear, here we go.
On his high school graduation day, Itsuki's cousin, Maru, tells him that she's pregnant. Just then, a gate of light emerges and transports the two into the world of Granvania. In this land, impurities have been causing a disturbance to the stars, ultimately plunging Granvania into chaos and disorder. And Itsuki, now revealed to be the one who's fated to meet with the Star Maidens, is seen as Granvania's last hope and was thus given the task to produce star children and combat the impurities. And unless the task is complete, Itsuki may never be able to return home.
Yeah, Dante's pointing out it is a adaptation of a video game. It's sort of like they do a video game and then they sort of made this maybe a little inexpensively to sort of promote the video game.
I think so, but let me read off some of the episode titles as well. That might also kind of give an idea. All right, episode 1 titled "My Child." Episode 2 titled "I Want You to Have My Child." Episode 3, "Would You Try Having My Child?" Episode 4, "Secrets in the Early Afternoon." Episode 5, "I've Got So Many Kids." Episode 6, "Will You Have My Child? Blah, blah." That's literally what it says. It says, "Will you have my child? Blah, blah." And it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard World End Harem?
I think
the thing that's got about 2 stars right now on on Funimation.
Yeah, there's a reason why it has 2 stars.
It's got 1.9 on Crunchyroll.
I think I watched about 35 seconds of that and said, "Nope, I'm out. Done."
Oh my god, the reason why people are upset with it is because it is too censored.
Oh, is that the thing? I mean,
there's a censored and uncensored, but
well, I know, but on Crunchyroll,
yeah,
they're like, that's the reason why it's got 1.9 is because they're like, it's too censored. But some of them are admitting the story is below average, though. But their main thing that's in the title, or is everyone's talking about it being censored.
Are they mad that it isn't filmed in Lubroscope? I mean, what exactly is the issue here?
The highest rated review is this. And this was on January 7th this year.
Yeah.
I hate censorship, and in this show, it is horribly done. I can't understand why Crunchyroll Funimation wanted the right to stream it. If showing nudity is not something you want on the platform, don't get the right for the show who screamed in the title. We'll wait for the full unadulterated version on another website. This is some big titty bitches. Like, that's what this is from the looks of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's some big titty.
There you go, Harry.
Curse you, Geodes. Curse you. That's that bear panda thing that was like the most annoying. Like, Transformers 2, where they had the tiny, annoying, wisecracking robots.
Yes.
The really shitty ones that you just go, I don't want to see this movie anymore. It was bad, right? That is the most annoying, like, sidekick / narrator character I've ever seen in an anime. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's this weird pervy panda thing that floats around and tells him to go have sex with people. It's really bad.
Yeah. This thing puts Jar Jar Binks to shame. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. You welcome Jar Jar Binks versus that thing.
You guys are really. I won't lie. I'm a little curious now.
Come on, Jack, do it.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
This is how I think this is sort of how I ended up getting Geodes to watch this piece of crap.
It's exactly how you got me to watch it.
It sounds so annoying. It sounds so awful that I'm a little curious.
Give me one moment.
I love the fact that you watched all the episodes of this shitty anime. Hi, next 6 minutes. The shitty anime, Geodes, and yet you can't finish Witch Hunter Robin. That is hilarious.
The difference is I did not want to watch this one. I forced myself to because I wanted to confirm that it was as bad as Harry claimed it was. Witch Hunter Robin, you recommended it, and I recommended it. Yeah, you recommended it. I watched it, and I was like, "This isn't bad," but I can't get into it. That's my problem.
There are some shows that, most people are just like, well, if you don't like it, why'd you watch it? It's like, because the story is enough to where I'm like, okay, I at least need to get through this to see how the story ends, even though I feel absolutely nothing for these characters.
Irony with
you can get to episode 12 and then just have a semi plow through everything, and you could just not care less.
I'm the complete opposite of that. It's like, if I can't get into the characters or anything like that, I'm like, I literally will just put it, go, okay, I'm done, and then just put it to the side and just forget about it.
Aha. Here's what I was thinking of. 1 second.
But to give an example, and I know I'm going to get jumped for this, at least in chat. I'm one of those people who, I saw the very first of the new Batman movie that was Christian Bale. I saw the first one, went, huh, and then never watched the rest of them because I just didn't, because it just, I just wasn't into it. And then I can do that. If if the first book sucks in a book series, at least I don't like it. Not so much sucks. I don't finish it. I just kind of go, oh, never mind. Just let it. Geodes, why are there birds?
So this was the best scene in that Conception anime because I was right there with the birds when it was happening. I'm just like, the birds were the most sane. They were the most sane creatures in the whole anime. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, they knew that it was terrible.
Yeah,
they were the anime artists going.
How is he
trying
still
to get paid.
alive?
Yep. No, they're looking on in horror. I think they were actually looking at the raccoon too when this was happening. And I was like, "Yep, that's about right." So
you randomly add in a raccoon, and I'm just like, God, what the hell is going on? What is happening in this scene? and I want to know more.
Oh,
And
no,
it's a
Harry,
little
what are you gonna show us?
terrifying.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's got that I like that a number of other people seem to think is just kind of creepy because they tried to make it kind of realistic in some ways, and it kind of creeps some people out. I know it sort of creeps geodes out a little bit. I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't care if everybody hates this. I think this is the best thing I've seen in like a decade. I love this show. This is like my favorite thing because it's the only thing of its kind where I actually feel where it actually kind of sucks you in, and it feels real to me. You know, you can get lost in the story and forget that you're watching an anime for a bit because there is a level of realism that just isn't there in the writing on a lot of other things. The writing is so much better than most other things out there.
Oh,
it's got good writing.
Strikes again. God bless us.
But the trouble is that he was basically like a 30-something-year-old pervert who ends up in a young boy's body, and they kept his weird pervertedness to some extent. So you have like this 5-year-old who's just sort of got very inappropriate thoughts. Now, on the one hand, you go, if this actually happened, if this were to actually happen, this is what it would be like. As uncomfortable as it is, that's what would end up happening. So the general idea is he was a complete loser in his past life. And so it's a redemption arc type of thing. And but the overall story has so much, it's got kind of this sort of rich tapestry thing going on. And they don't, unlike Black Clover, they don't just pad the freaking episodes. So like where you would normally have just the same recycled shit, the same Battlestar Galactica, explosion scene on loop over and over again. They actually have at least make an effort during the opening credits to kind of have the story move forward. And it's that kind of little attention to detail where they do stuff they don't really have to do that I kind of appreciate because it's not a lazy thing.
And I think it was played more for comedy, like when he was a baby and he's suckling like babies do. And he's just like, well, I'm not hard at all. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, scenes like the scenes like that wasn't necessarily what got me. It was other scenes, but yeah,
it's a bit rough. I mean, the thing is that it's for better or worse, it's kind of real.
Yeah, I'll
and he's not a good guy. I mean, this is a redemption thing. He doesn't start out being a good person.
And I would even say in season 2, it's touch and go at points in terms of how good of a person he is. So.
Yeah.
Geo's, they do have a light novel of it though. So
I know.
You may like the light novel better.
I don't know.
But I love this thing. If I was making like a top 10 list, I would put this right up there next to Witch Hunter Robin in terms of how much I like it.
Now I will say, can you bring up the one that I mentioned, Harry? I can send it to you if you need, but give me one moment.
With a little bit of work, I absolutely can.
Yeah.
There's a game for it too.
That doesn't surprise me. It like I said, it's fairly well done. It's just kind of a...
Oh yeah, no. We all have animes where we're like, nah, fuck it.
Let me see if I can find...
I mean, if you just want to watch boobs jiggle around, you could just watch Sekirei or Freezing Vibration or any number of other things. There's a lot of that sort of stuff there. And it's like, I don't really care about cartoon boobs. I just don't want to have to explain myself if my imaginary girlfriend walks in the room.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, it would be inconvenient because I don't care.
Anime and video game boobs make me laugh just because of the physics. Because I'm like, that's not how boobs work.
No, they don't work.
Boobs don't do that. Like, they make me laugh every time.
It will increase your combat skills. Your combat skills will increase dramatically by having to carry all this extra weight around.
There you go. All right.
Well, you talked about that one before, Gio.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
that is.
Oh, this is Danmachi or whatever they call it in Japanese.
Yeah, and Danmachi. But the title that most people recognize in English is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? A way a friend described it is excellent anime, terrible title.
Yeah, the title I found wasn't really, it didn't do the show justice. When I hear a title like that, I expect it to be constantly wacky all the time, and that show was not constantly wacky all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if you want to
Well, I don't know. It's like, which of the many seasons am I grabbing a graphic from? You know, that's the thing.
You just do the last one. That's
so.
fine with
The thing about this is, I found this season 3 about partway through. I'm just like, this storyline is annoying me, and I just stopped watching. And that's sad because I actually really like the universe that they've sort of built up. They've done a really good job of it. And this is actually really the first 2 seasons and the Sword Oratorio side, whatever you call that spin-off thing.
Yeah.
Both really, really good. And I'd like to sort of see where it goes. But I found season 3 to be, this storyline was really kind of tedious.
Yeah.
For what show? Sorry.
Dan Machi. Is around and pick up girls.
Oh yeah.
I'm working on it.
The
Greek mythology, the anime.
So there's a couple things, because I actually found this section also to be kind of rough towards the very end too, even though the monster saga wasn't too bad in my opinion. Because I read the light novels, and but as far as the TV show goes, one of the problems is in season 2 they gutted a lot of content that was kind of important to the story, in my opinion. And then season 3, they kind of returned to the roots of like season 1, where they kept most of the major stuff in. The problem is that this section, it kind of sort of goes against in my opinion, kind of the direction of where Damachi was originally kind of going to a certain extent. But it's one of those ones where it's like, I for me, it's just kind of dumb fun. But it's a guilty pleasure series that I read, but it's pretty good. And the light novels are really good. The TV show wouldn't be able to capture everything in the light novels. So, yeah,
I agree. It's actually pretty darn good. I just personally found that storyline for season 3 to be kind of tedious, and I don't want to give anything away, but I think that's really just on me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got you. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I mean, I will say, I usually give shows about 7 episodes in, and that's partially due to Damachi, because of when I was watching it, it's not until about episode 7 that's going to determine whether you get pulled in or not to the show, or to the series. So, and so I usually give that much to other series because I feel like that's fair.
Y'all are nicer than I am. I give 3 episodes.
No, when I first watched that show too, it was during anime night for me, and we watched like 2 episodes and just weren't into it at all and dropped it for like a year, and then we came back to it and kept watching it, and by around that time we're like, hey, this is actually pretty good. I'm enjoying this more and more as we go on. Yeah,
because I won't spoil because not everybody will have watched it, but there's a particular point where the main character's pushed into a situation that they have no choice but to like fight through, and they kind of have to. It's kind of a sink or swim kind of moment, and that's really why it works. So, but.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's the whole thing about, you're supposed to get invested in the character, and it does have a character arc, and it's the hero's arc this time.
Yep.
This is the hero's arc, so we're going to have, the slow thing, the build up, the triumph, the crash, the recovery. It's going to be that, because that's what the hero's arc always is. And as I think Johnny was pointing out, it's based on Greek mythology.
Yeah. Dante was talking about the Greek mythology aspect the whole time.
His sort of patron god. I mean, the general premise of it is that the gods essentially became really bored and decided that they would make up some rules limiting their abilities and come down to earth. And then these familias that they build are, once again, it's sort of like in any kind of anime vehicle where you've got teams of some sort. Whether it's squads of soul reapers or whatever it is. In this case, they each have these families that orient underneath a particular deity. And in his case, it's a lesser known deity, Hestia, which is Vesta, the Vestal Virgin. So we're talking about a virgin god, but with, let's just say, sort of an amorous enthusiasm, but she's still a virgin god.
Yeah.
So the bouncy thing, it's actually a very wholesome relationship between her and her hero, which is the protagonist of the show, and it's good storytelling for the most part. That's why season 3 bothers me so much, is that it just feels like they're kind of phoning it in.
Yeah, I think it would have been better had season 2 actually kind of try to stick more to some of the stuff that they built up there, in my opinion, because they actually hinted at stuff to season 3 as well in the book series that season 2 is based off of. I think it would have helped carry it a bit better, but it's season 2 is rough. I'm not going to lie. Season 2 is pretty rough. I was watching it very disappointed. So,
well, I think if you're invested in it, because you enjoyed season 1 enough, it's probably worth plowing on through. It's just, I'm a busy guy and I got stuff to do and I only have so much time to watch this stuff. Yeah. So I have to pick and choose. And if something doesn't really grab me, I'm not going to be obsessed about it. I will tell you that when Jobless Reincarnation came on, was it Mohoshi Tenshi? I don't speak Japanese, so I don't generally use the Japanese titles for things. It was pretty much one of those. It would drop at 7:30 in the morning, and I would be watching it at 7:31.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's how you can gauge my level of enthusiasm for something.
Yep. No, absolutely. But yeah,
refresh, damn it.
But yeah, no. The general premise is pretty fun, and it's kind of ropes a few different ideas into one, which is nice. You've got effectively kind of the overpowered hero to a certain extent, sort of like in any other like doujin. You have kind of a leveling system like a video game. You have like the fantasy setting of like Greek and Norse gods and all these other things, and traveling into a dungeon to defeat enemies, or sometimes, or in certain cases, like with the movie they released, outside of a dungeon to defeat enemies. But it has a lot of boxes that can be ticked, and that's what's kind of nice about it. So, yeah.
Well, I would definitely recommend at least watching season 1 if you haven't seen it. And you like anime, you kind of owe it to yourself to give season 1 a try.
Yep.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, what is everyone's favorite isekai? Because the genre's become pretty expansive in the last 5 years.
Isekai cheat magician.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, you poor bastard! You gotta watch it. It's terrible.
God, no!
It's like the mark that people use for the low bar for these things. But then Conception came along and kind of reset the scale. It's like negative warp 10.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair,
again, I'm sorry if I'm shitting on anybody's favorite anime.
To be fair, the Isekai arc for Conception was just there to help pull people in because of who were on the Isekai bandwagon. That's not what it's about. That's not even the focus at all. I'm
sorry.
know.
What was the question again, Jack?
What's your favorite isekai?
What's your favorite isekai?
Well, I already told you what mine is. Please. It's Jobless Reincarnation. It's not even close.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Geodes?
I actually kind of have a unique one in that it's a reverse isekai. It's Restaurant to Another World. I enjoy that one a lot. Yeah.
Dante, in particular, loves that show.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's really good.
What about you, Star?
So the one that's my favorite is the one that existed before there was the term we knew in the West, which is erased. Because
erased? But that's not a isekai.
It's awful close when you think about it, because it is about going back to the past and fixing stuff.
Well, no, it's a time travel story. I wouldn't call that
that's more time travel than.
I consider time travel part of the isekai stuff because a lot of them are starting to do that now.
Don't get me wrong. With the exception of the ending, which I thought was a little weak, Erased was a fantastic show.
Oh yeah, the live action's really good too. But Shield Hero, Shield Heroes, in my personal opinion, until season 2 comes out, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah,
like
I
Shield
have
Heroes
no idea. I have no idea where it's gonna go, and it could very, very easily just be shit.
But yeah, no, it's that one's. It's just like I don't like ones that, because I read a lot of the mangas. I don't read the light novels. I read a lot of the manhwas and the and the mangas, and I don't like the villainous trope of isekais. I don't like it because it's like, you're not a villainous. Stop trying. Like, I can understand if the character in the past was, but you're not now. Stop it. Just because you're outsmarting everybody doesn't make you evil.
Oh yeah,
like,
are you talking about what's it called?
The
skeleton one.
Well, no, the thing that started a lot of the isekai stuff that got it big were all the villainous, the ones that were like How to Live as a Villainous or I Was a Villainous. All those animes and all those mangas, where there's where it was like either it was one of two things. Either the girl, it was always a girl, either she is from our world and she was a different person in Truck-kun or Bus-chan hit them, and then they came back and they transported to another world of a book they read or whatever, and they fell into the body of the villainess. Or it was a girl, once again, who in the previous timeline had gotten basically, she was sweet and kind and she just got railroaded by everybody and tricked. And now when she reincarnates, she's like, because she knows how everything's going to go and she knows whose like personalities are what they are, she's just like, well, I'm just going to be air quotes evil, basically just keep themselves alive. I hate that trope. I hate it. It's like, stop it. I have never heard of Bofuri.
I was gonna say one that I like, Ari Ferretta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on before we get to that one. I just want to talk about this since I've gone to all the trouble to screen grab and change this. There seems to have been this idea that we need to make more anime for girls, right? So they came out with a lot of these animes that are kind of cute and fluffy, and this one's actually reasonably fun. And we can add her to the list of OP characters that have been thrown into anime. Now, it's not an isekai, it's one of those I'm in a video game type things, but to my mind, they kind of function the same sort of way in a lot of ways. And when you're talking about Shield Hero, I just sort of couldn't help but think of this thing. This is actually a lot of fun, as those things go. But it's sort of like, here's the girl character, and she plays video games, and she kicks ass, but remains kind of pure and bubbly despite all of the stuff. This is not terrible. Have anybody seen this other than me?
Yeah.
And Dante?
It's good. Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the humorous parts of it, and it's not really spoiling anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's near the end when she does the transformation. And I'm not going to say into what, just because
she basically goes into beast mode of various forms a number of times.
Yes, but she still maintains the bubbly personality, so she's really kind of like dainty as she's posing as this beast form. And I thought that was pretty clever.
I found it a little slow, but at the same time, it's pretty good. I honestly, in my opinion, it's better than other series that are like worshipped, like Sword Art Online. So there you go.
Well, at some point, she's just going to turn into a wave motion gun with cat ears. That's basically where it's headed.
Yeah, basically. So.
Okay, sorry, Johnny, I interrupted you. What were you going to say? Oh, Ara Ferretta.
Ara Ferretta, and that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Gotcha.
Okay, I know Geodes is not a fan of Ara Ferretta. I actually had been watching it, and I sent him a note the other day saying that season 2 is actually not as bad. It's actually better than season 1.
Ara Ferretta, it is really troubling for me because it started off really, really well. I thought that the way that they started that show off was really cool. How he like eats crap around him and gets powers that way, and then the rest of the season just tails off completely for me. It gets boring really fast.
As someone who doesn't like it, but who has a lot of IRL friends who enjoy it, one of the things I was told was that the Hydra fight was actually not even in the original source material, and that's one of the fights that really killed it for a lot of people. So,
oh yeah, that's the CGI one, isn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
it wasn't even in the original source material.
Really bad CGI one.
Yeah, that was that was off-putting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I mean, in terms of the, I'm reincarnated. I'm in another world, and I've somehow managed to land near the bottom of the pecking order, and now with my will to live, I'm going to survive. I think actually Slime did a better job of building that part of the thing than Arvaretta. But then Slime gets to be way too offensive to my adult sensibilities after a while. It's just too many cute voices and too many. It just feels like it's going to give me diabetes, so I just can't.
Question,
Well,
Harry. Have you ever watched Overlord?
No.
Overlord is basically like Slime, except it's all from a villain perspective. You might enjoy that more. Just
quite possibly. Sorry, I feel like I cut you off, Johnny.
Just in I kind of forgot what I was gonna.
I feel kind of bad because I just spent the last few minutes ragging on it, and you're like, "Oh, I really like this show."
Oh no!
Which one were you ragging on?
Which one?
Arvaretta.
Oh, Arvaretta. Yeah, Arvaretta is not bad. It's not up there, but there is the. I think what kept me in there was just the fact that the characters are individuals, and yet it kind of plays off like the harem trope, and it's not taking it too seriously.
The thing that I particularly like,
and the bestiality dragon was or not bestiality, the one that he put the ram into the dragon's ass, and then like all of a sudden she's just like, okay, well maybe I am kind of enjoying this a little too much.
Oh, you're thinking of that other thing.
That's from Arvaretta.
Is it? Okay, maybe I'm getting them confused.
I think it is.
That's the dragon lady.
Too many crappy animes in the world. Let me get my bearings.
You're not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Well, because there were a couple things. So is it Seirei Gen Soki Spirit Chronicles? I'm mispronouncing it terribly. There's that one, and
God love you, Harry.
It was the other one. I don't pretend to be good at this.
No, that one's not bad, but it's really
Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, those two are both fluffy. Those are like guilty pleasure type things. They're much better than they should be, to my opinion. I mean, they're much more enjoyable than they should be, considering that they're really kind of crap, but I actually kind of enjoyed them anyway. I mean, I can't point at anything. I can't say the animation's good, that the story's awesome. There's nothing I can point at that's particularly good, but overall, it's like, yeah, that was actually pretty fun.
Harry being
I've always found that when it comes to isekai, the ones that compel me the most are the ones where the characters face the most stark limitations or are faced with the greatest cynicism. So Shield Hero is one. RE0, I know that's kind of a basic bitch opinion, but RE0 was I like that one a lot. What else? What's the one? The guy who's the hero is overly cautious. That one I liked a lot.
See, I'm the opposite. I like watching the shitty isekai with the most OP person possible. And the worse it is and the more ridiculously OP it is, the more I like to hate watch it.
There you go.
So like smartphone, what was that other
Oh
stupid
God,
thing? Wise Man's
Smartphone.
Grandchild.
Jesus.
Mhm.
That's pure crap.
Oh God.
And then
the library one, the bookseller one, the where she's like she wants to be a bookseller.
I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of the title.
Oh God, I tried to read the manga.
oh, that's that bookworm thing. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I
bookworm.
wanted to reach through the like. I made it far in because I was like, this has got to like time jump at some point, and she's got to be older. Like we got to get past the little kid part at some point. No, I made it like 30 chapters in. She was still like 8 years old. I was about ready to beat the hell out of somebody.
Yeah. No.
Sukamichi.
Well, me and you and me have actually had this conversation, Serenity, where we kind of want we kind of want like the Japanese to kind of like start focusing more on adult characters if they're going to start doing this stuff.
Like it's one of the things I have like I like slice of life animes,
Mhm.
but I refuse to watch anything where they're younger than high school.
Yeah.
I do not, and if someone understands Japanese culture better than I do, please explain it to me. I do not understand the Japanese obsession with middle school. Like everything in the West that we consider happening in high school, like your first love, that kind of stuff. Like for them, they start it in middle school, and I'm just like, you're 12. No.
I will say, yeah, and this is from personal experience in middle school, that actually a lot of that's kind of accurate, at least for the middle school I went to, including reinforcement from the teachers. So I maybe that's why.
Dude, let me interject something really quickly and then I'll shut up. I went to 2 different elementary schools when I was a kid. One of them was very different than the other. It was like a huge culture shock because in one of the schools there was like this one couple like who like sort of would hold hands in 4th grade through 6th grade. They were like the token couple. And then there was this other high school I went to elementary school for like 5th grade. And these kids were just like hooking up and doing stuff in 4th and 5th grade. It was like this weird culture shock. So I can tell you that even within the same city, you can have drastically different kind of cultural things going on.
Well,
in terms of that kind of attitude.
I'm aware that stuff happens in real life in middle school. I understand that. I do not feel comfortable as a 30-plus-year-old person watching middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't feel comfortable as a 5th grader going from the Pollyanna elementary school to the everybody's getting jiggy school. That was a weird culture shock. Because it's like I've got feelings and I don't know what to do with them, and this is just like holy shit. I'm not comfortable with any of this.
Yeah. My pants are tingly.
I want to grow up to be an uptight adult.
I'm getting hair in weird places.
On my palms. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, and I know it's a cultural thing. Like, I don't want to watch because, like I said, I understand it happens and I get that, but it's just I don't like because this is the problem with being on Tumblr. Is that and there was a good, and on a side note, there was a good thing for them cracking down on the porn on Tumblr because you run across stuff you don't want to run across, and I won't name it because I'm afraid YouTube's going to hit us for calling it what the genre is.
Yeah,
but like the fact that it's so easy for certain parts of the Japanese culture to twist that way, because we were talking about doujinshi in chat a second ago. And the fact that they'll just go that hard to the side, that's the reason why it bothers me, because I know what the culture is like over there and how they sexualize. Some people will sexualize little kids. And so like them doing the middle school stuff, it makes it too easy unless I don't want to watch it because I know what some of the weirdos are thinking. Because I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
What?
And that's the thing. You're not wrong.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I don't like. I just like I will watch. I will watch the high schoolers to a point. There are, God, what was it? Well, Psychopaths. Psychopaths dealt with some terrifying stuff, but it's
Psychopaths is what Minority Report should have been.
yes, agreed. Mm-hmm. I don't like how the entire series ended. I don't like how it ended, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the ending. I hate that ending. But
speaking of shows with endings we hate.
Oh God.
I can think of at least a few where I watched the show and it was great, and then it ended and I wanted to cry because it just
and not in a good way.
And not in a good way. It's
I have forgotten a couple because of that, and so
I forget them on purpose. It's like I don't need you in my brain. Like when I say, let's make a slight distinction. When I say I don't like the ending of Cowboy Bebop, I still agree that it made narrative sense. I am just that type of person who doesn't like that type of ending, but I don't hate that ending. There's a difference between not liking that type of ending as a umbrella thing for everything and an ending being shit. I hated Psychopath's ending because that was bullshit.
That was a shit ending, and like hard, super hard shit. No,
that's the reason why I don't watch past the first season. Just end there.
No movies.
Yeah, don't watch the movies. Don't.
The one that comes to my mind is Gurren Lagann.
Oh God!
Holy shit! I mean, listen, I'm the kind of guy who, when people they start talking about like everybody dies, you know when a conversation gets to a point and it's like everybody dies, let's just talk about death for a little while. I hate that shit. And that's what the end of Gurren Lagann was to me. It was, everybody's going to get older and they're going to have to pass the torch to the next generation. And then they're going to slowly fall into obscurity, guys. Guys, this is going to happen even if you don't want it to. Yeah, guess what? We're aware. We know that things happen and that eventually it kind of goes to shit. I don't want to talk about it every 5 fucking seconds. Jesus Christ.
I do have to say, for chat's reasons, because Veritas and I have already gotten into this a little bit. When here in the States, it was called Robotech, because I watched the dubbed version and I watched the subbed version, because the dubbed version was what was on Cartoon Network. Robotech had this amazing ability to make an ending that wasn't an ending. I don't know how they did it, but it tied everything up and it tied nothing up. It was amazing, and I still to this day don't know how I feel about it. But there's certain ones that did it very well. Like I think Sailor Moon series ended very well. Like once they finished everything, I liked how Samurai Champloo ended because I like that type of ending better, instead of what happened with Cowboy Bebop. I never got into Death Note because I knew where it was going from the word go, and I'm like, we're not doing this. So I was like, no. But there's sometimes just feels like the writers realize something's gone on for too long and then they just stop it. And they want to stop it in a way that you can never make any sequels to it. And that's what Psychopath's ending is.
There you go.
That's the ending. Like it's not like Paranoia Agent. Paranoia Agent ended really well. Lawn ended really well. I'm naming a lot of old ones because I grew up during the older days.
Well, I mean, Paranoia Agent was on Adult Swim, so I definitely saw that one.
Paranoia Agent was.
That was the type of ending where you saw it, and you're like,
whoa.
Yeah.
That it was kind of like that's it, and it's just like, oh shit. Like
it's one of those, it hits you like a few hours later, like you're asleep, and then you sit up and go, wait a minute. It's that moment. It's like
I can totally get how it all happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it was really kind of interesting.
Yeah. I will say, I probably knew of an anime that I hated the ending, but I blame Harry for this. After watching Conception,
you should.
My default now is, hey, it can't be worse than that. So I'm just kind of like, dang it.
I want to know, can we start some kind of petition to not have there be any more new re-endings of Evangelion? Because I remember watching the first one.
First one should have been and left alone after.
It should have been left alone. As unsatisfying as that was, with the whiny Shinji and his existential crisis and how he won't get in the damn mech. As annoying as that was, you still had this sort of what is reality, introspection, send the ambulance thing, and then it ended. It was fine. It was unsatisfying for a lot of people. So the people who made that show kind of said, you didn't like that? Hold my beer. And then they just made progressively worse reinterpretations of it.
Or
no,
you could have everyone here who's watched 5 seconds of it, his favorite one, Tenchi Muyo, which just keeps going and going and going and won't die. Or Oh My Goddess. Oh My Goddess was the same way.
I liked Tenchi Muyo, the OVA.
The OVA was good.
The OVA was good, but Tenchi in Tokyo and Tenchi in Space and Tenchi Galaxy Police and Tenchi War on Geminar, all of those things can go suck a bag of dicks.
And it just...
I'm sorry, I just don't like them.
There was just too much incest. I'm sorry. There was just too much fucking incest in Tenchi.
Oh, you're talking about because the princess was related in terms of the family?
Everyone's related. Everyone's related in that show to one extent or another.
Well, and that goes in with what the hell's it called? The assassin gets reincarnated as an aristocrat.
Yeah.
That thing.
come to find out that the girl that he's after is his direct cousin. And I'm like, okay, so that's going to change your mind, isn't it?
Nope.
Isn't it?
Yeah, nope. I like your hair.
It
reminds me of my mom.
Nope.
No, but
remind me of my mommy. Now we're going to get real creepy.
I'm serious, though. Dante showed me a freaking a diagram of the family tree that is in Tenchi Muyo. Everyone is related.
Yes.
It's absurd.
It's Japan.
Well,
I know.
They have major like mangas and light novels where it's literally a twin brother and sister run off together to get married.
I'm not, I just looked up the thing. There's a case, a book cover that whatever it is, I think it's chick. Just looks like a bunny burner. So I don't know. Like that kind of would deter me from reading it.
Assassin, I don't want to know how you know that statistic. I don't want to know, but it's one of those things where
it's self-reported. They're
apparently, but no, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like there's Tenchi Muyo was Tenchi Muyo and Oh My Goddess were both products of their time. We're just gonna go with that. They were just weird ass animes, and they were just like the OVA was good. That should have stayed there. Should have stopped.
Yeah.
There's some animes where it's like I feel like someone has to stand in front of the creators with a rolled up newspaper and go, no. And
I did like a lot of the show. For example, if nothing else from the Tenchi series, the backdrops were beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
The talent in the animation for Tenchi Muyo was amazing.
I just want my life to look like that, please.
Can I just say, going to an animation one, even if you like or don't like it, I think it's episode 42 of Boruto.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
The fight scene between Naruto, Sasuke, and that weird pale face guy.
I think it's the alien.
Yeah, that was so well animated that, like, me and my friend watched it and we were just blown away. Like, it was that well done.
Yeah, and it's like there's this is not like the dark ages of anime where like there was I always make jokes about you could always tell when the episodes they ran out of money in the old school animes because they would have the really well done episode and then the next episode would be animated like shit. And then they would have the next episode be really well animated and then the next one be animated shit.
Two episodes that are animated like 90s South Park, just do.
Yeah.
And then the next episode would be like CGI, like fully 3D fight scenes, and then just goes back to South Park.
Well, the people who made Tenchi Muyo decided, hey, we can't just keep doing that. We have to make something new. So then they made this thing. Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure. Not terrible, but it's not one of those things that I believe was ever on Adult Swim or...
It never made it to memorable status.
Yeah, it was one of those Genion Pioneer things that just didn't get broadly licensed. So you have this character that looks almost exactly like Tenchi, and then you have these other characters. It's just Tenchi remade in a different universe without being Tenchi.
What's like nowadays,
again, not terrible.
So many anime companies are stepping up their game, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that computers can fill in for a lot of stuff. Like we'll take Demon Slayer, because that's one that possibly everyone has at least seen one like fight scene or something like that of. The fight scenes are really well done, and the close-up of the characters is really well done. But when they pan out, you can tell it's computer animated. But it doesn't matter because it's still like the stuff that matters is animated really well. So they're learning to cut their corners where they should. Jujutsu Kaisen's fights, I think, are really well animated as well.
Yes.
Because they're really good. I prefer them to Demon Slayer just because ironically it's not as magic.
I'm going through my Hulu list to see which one I was looking for that anchored me so much at the end. And then I come across Blood Sea, and then I'm even more mad now.
Oh
God,
yeah.
there was a show that really pissed me off.
Blood Plus should have just ended there.
Agreed. Blood Plus should have just stopped.
Why? What part of Blood Plus are you talking about?
I'm talking about Blood Sea, the continuation of the story.
Oh yeah, it should have just stopped with Blood Plus and just stopped.
I had to stop watching Blood Plus after a certain point. A character dies.
Vampires are cool, man.
And that just I was like, no, because there are certain lines that really you don't cross with me when it comes to anime, and one of them is the death of young people.
Mm-hmm.
That really just rubs me the wrong way.
When they made that kid the that really kind of pissed me off too.
Don't give spoilers. Don't you dare.
No, I'm not saying anything else. But if you've seen the show, you know what I'm referring to.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I kept it vague on purpose because that's
you did very well. But Blood Plus.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the thing Gio sent me.
Blood Plus was good. Blood Seed, nah, fuck it. Trying to
Infinite Dendrogram wasn't bad.
Yeah,
to go with Bofuri, that kind of
the ones I like, the animes that did the most for me, because there's not very many modern ones that I'm like, yes. Like I loved Gundam Wing, because I have the entire series. I have the entire series of Gundam Wing and Endless Waltz, the one OVA they did. Well, not even OVA; it's just a movie. I thought Gundam Wing was really good.
Yeah,
I've always watched the older stuff, like old Sailor Moon, back when she was called Serena, not Usagi. Because I have no problem watching dub, but I will watch sub as well. I just don't care. I'll watch it in whatever format it shows up for me. Fruits Basket, but Fruits Basket gets dark after the first season, so just be forewarned.
Mm-hmm.
The reboot or the old one?
I own the old one, and I have watched the new one. And the old one only goes to the first season, and it just stops before it gets dark. The reboot gets dark after about I want to say at least for the first half of the second season. It's not too bad. It's not too dark, and then it just kind of slowly goes off the deep end. But it's a good dark. It's one of those things where it's kind of like just a heads up. This is not a happy-go-lucky slice of life. I'm going to get the boy. It's nothing like that. Like it is, but it isn't. It's like just a heads up.
There is. I can't find it on my thing here, but there's one. They probably took it off.
Probably.
But there's one that it's a boy meets girl. Girl happens to be an undercover princess, and he is like super autistic, and to the point where like he's not like bullied or anything, but like people are just thinking he's weird, and he somehow becomes this tactician, and they go and I'm gonna spoil the whole thing because fuck how shitty this ending is. So they go through this whole thing. It's mostly a will they won't they for the main character and the thing, because this is another thing that really pissed me off. They threw that in there, and I'm thinking, you're thinking, oh, it's a will they won't they. He's just a common, kid, and
he's a plant.
And I mean, he wasn't like retarded or anything, but he was definitely like socially inept.
Yes.
And they had a bond. It was close. They were close, and it was kind of like this. Oh, I'm gonna save the girl, and then like the villain at the end shoots the girl. So that ends that. Like after all this, will they, won't they? And he just randomly shoots this girl, and it's like he's from the same kingdom, and he's being recorded. So it's like he does this in front of God and everyone. And he's like, yeah, now people are going to think that this is going to, like, because she's dead, we're going to go to war with whoever. I'm like, everyone knows you're doing this. And so, yeah, and then the kid ends up dying. And then the guy ends up dying. And it just, like, I think the next part of the story is like the story just getting swept under the rug. So all that happened for fucking no reason.
Yeah.
All three of your main characters, hero, villain, and target of affection, are all just fucking killed and swept under a rug.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm gonna go drink this one away.
Well, that was kind of my problem with Psychopaths, but go on, Geodes, before I go off on that rant.
I was gonna say, as far as like slice of life that I can think of, there's one that I'm not a fan of the premise per se, but it was fairly well done, and it's just kind of a like more of a cheesy one is Re-Life, because what Re-Life is the idea is that there's this company that's founded to help people re-find themselves, if you will. It's to try and help people who have gone lost in the efforts of trying to be an adult, job, like from working at a job you hate to, relationships not working out, all this stuff. And what it does is it tries to kind of help kickstart and give you a second opportunity by more or less fabricating a bunch of documentation and getting a special drug that kind of reverses the aging process temporarily and makes it so that you look like you are in high school again. And the idea is like you go through like the final year of high school one last time to try and see if you can reconnect with the fire that you had when you were younger. I hated the premise of it, but it was actually fairly well done. So
there you go.
Have you guys? Oh God, what the hell's that one on Netflix? It's the same one from the studio that made Fairy Tale.
Oh God. Oh, geez.
7 Deadly Sins?
No.
Is it full of boobs? Because then the studio is Katakawa.
It's there's art. There are boobs. I mean,
Yeah.
of course.
You know, before we end this, we really do need to talk about some of the more gratuitous things along those lines.
Let me see if I can find it.
Not salacious, mind you, just gratuitously silly.
Oh, Eden Zero.
Oh, okay.
It's just take your Fairy Tale characters, change a palette, and put them. It's like getting new characters for old actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
basically,
pretty much that's pretty much what it is. It's just like you haven't changed a thing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I was thinking about some of this old school anime stuff that I used to watch a long time ago, and I'd forgotten about a bunch of it. Stuff like, was it Shopping Arcade Abunabashi?
Yeah.
That was like big fun. I mean, I totally recommend something like that. But I'd watch stuff like that and Shin-Chan, and I even suffered through, and this is like my badge of honor, sort of like Geodes is weirdly proud of making it through Conception. I'm weirdly proud of making it through Super Milk-Chan.
Oh God, Super Milk-Chan.
Super Milk-Chan is just chef's kiss. Oh, so good.
Oh Jesus. I made it through Samurai Pizza Cats, and that's not even that bad.
Oh, Super Milk-Chan is just the best because you can watch the Japanese version. And then ADV was the studio that picked it up. So they redid it with Hilary Hogg doing the voice acting for the main character, and they took all the stuff that nobody outside of Japan could possibly understand, all the cultural stuff, and kind of changed it around to Western stuff that made sense. But like the one of the tropes that goes through the whole series is that Milk-Chan does not want to pay her rent. It's not that she can't pay her rent; it's that she doesn't want to. As she says, I don't have money. I don't have money, to give people for other things. I don't want to do this. So her landlord was like this flamboyantly gay dude who would come up to the door, and then she would trick him somehow into not taking the rent. And this happened every episode.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that show, and it says so much bad about me that I have such a high threshold of pain that I can actually sit through crap like that. I must seriously be a bit of a masochist to watch that. Have any of you seen this show that I'm talking about?
Yes.
No.
Nope.
You have most likely seen the character because she's a very iconic character, and they use her in a lot of even now in Japanese media. So you've most likely seen the character. You just didn't know there was a series involved. God damn.
I'm taking care of it.
Oh, Super Milk-Chan, sweet baby Jesus. Because she ran on Adult Swim in the early 2000s, if I remember right.
I actually ended up buying the damn DVDs, which is why I was able to watch both versions.
Of course you did.
Hey, anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Yeah. But it's like I watched the weirder, funnier ones just because I wanted to see it and to understand it. But the ones that stuck with me are like Record of Lodoss Wars, Robotech, the original Sailor Moon, Fushigi Yugi, which most people have not seen, but I love that damn show. Ronin Warriors, Magic Knight Rayearth. Gotta love that Clamp. That's the stuff like I like the modern stuff. It doesn't hit the same way for me, which makes it which kind of sucks because it's like I want to feel that feeling again, like when I watched Fushigi Yugi for the first time. But that stuff, you just kind of got to learn that stuff doesn't hit the same anymore. Yeah.
There's Super Milk Chan.
God, Super Milk Chan.
I'm not going to play the audio because I don't want to get us struck.
Oh yeah.
But this is what the animation is like. It's pretty rough.
Why though?
Yeah, I know. Why
it's
though?
Japan. The thing is, this was made by Tokyo Kids. Like that's who it was made by.
Well, also there was a period in time where they were experimenting a lot more with animation than they do now. They've kind of streamlined it all into a certain type of animation for the most part. But I was like, oh.
They kind of have, but every studio still has its style where you can tell Mappa.
Yeah.
From the other one, like Mappa and
they still have distinct styles to a certain extent, but it's a lot more uniform than it used to be. But that actually does make me think of one that is relatively new that came out. I actually tried watching last night. Ranking of Kings.
Yeah,
no.
That one is. It's cutesy and dark at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird. It's what I imagine like old school grim fairy tales, like modern adaptation would be if it was done in Japan. Kind of is a way to kind of think of it. But it's
weird.
It's not bad, but it's weird. It is weird.
I can't get into the art style because some of the art styles, like not some of the art style, the art style, like I just can't get into it. It's just it's who makes it? Let me see here. Oh, Wit Studio makes it. That's the reason why. Okay, yeah, no, that's their style. That explains a few things. I just I've seen portions of it, and I'm just sitting there going, no. I saw, what was it? He was running around in a diaper, and someone was trying to kill him, but they weren't succeeding.
Well,
it was something weird like that.
It's a little the pacing's very off in this one, which is partially the problem. Yeah. The general premise is not horrible. If the pacing was done a bit better, and I'm trying to think of what else they could do. I don't know if they can change the art style because I kind of understand why they do it that way. But
I understand the art style, and I'll never be one of those people who's like, you need to change your art style. It's just for me, it's one of those art styles. It has to be really good for me to get past the art style.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those series that's some people will like it, and I suspect, and then other people are just. I don't think people would necessarily hate it, but a lot of people are just going to leave with a meh kind of feeling, So. It's a little strange. I'm not going to lie. So
how are we? It seems like we're winding down a bit. Is there anything more that needs to be said, or should we put this thing to bed soon?
Boobs.
Well, if you want boobs, there's Sekirei, always good. Freezing, and then the subsequent freezing vibration, which is terrible. There are a lot of boobs in anime. I mean, you have to be a lot more specific.
Why do I need to be That's just the point.
Well, boobs. There's a lot of them.
There you go. Hey, there's what was the series I'm thinking of offhand?
Are you trying to come up with a series that has boobs in it?
Well,
yeah.
My thought is immediately to first of all, Uzaki-chan, who and another series that became famous because of social justice backlash.
Oh yeah, because they were pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
I really enjoyed High School of the Dead. I really liked High School of the Dead. It was funny. So if you put humor in with the boobs, it's good.
Well, especially with the ridiculousness of dodging an arrow by her flexing her boobs in
That
different
whole
directions.
that whole thing was ridiculous. I
Yeah.
really actually
Was
enjoyed it.
was that the same one? And maybe I'm thinking of a slightly different zombie series, but was that the same one where the guy used the girl's chest as a platform for his rifle? Yeah,
one and the same.
Yeah.
It's like nice little V shape. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
I know
times.
the big boobed anime girl. Apparently that anime's on Amazon as well. But that one, like, it's cute. Like, it's not a bad. It's like she just has giant tits. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's actually
It's a nice
adorable.
show.
It's really sweet.
Yeah, and the whole idea was basically she's trying to get somebody who was her senior in high school to basically kind of open up a bit more and have more fun.
Yep.
And because she likes the guy in terms of, like, originally it's just likes the guy as a friend, and then it kind of goes into a bit more there. Yeah.
Unlike
And even then,
there.
like, it's great because he's a massive introvert, and on one hand, like, he kind of tell he appreciates it. On the other hand, he really does not. So
yeah, poor guy. He's like, it's actually a good anime.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sad. Everybody got mad about it. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's my strategy though. If I see that people are like the social justice types are screaming about it online, I'm like, put it on the list.
Mhm.
That's the one I'm watching next.
Because
I just know it's gonna be well written.
No, there was a coworker that we had. It was one Saturday. My friend ended up working a double, and he worked the 2 to 10 shift, and then I was working the nights with him. And there was a third gal there who was cross training, and we were at one of the lulls in the night. It was an anime night, so we're watching we're watching Naruto Shippuden, and I don't exactly remember which episode. It was just some stupid shit was going on. It was a filler. It was a filler episode.
It was a
so
filler,
like no, we're not even really paying attention. We're waiting for. I think they were playing One Punch Man at the time, and she brings up this sort of like social justice-y thing, and of course, Hinata and Naruto are playing. They're being, will they, won't they ish.
Yeah, but we all know
as they were. Yeah. and I looked at my friend because, like, the more she talks, the more she's pissing us both off. And I look at him and I go, how dirty do you think he's getting with that shadow clone thing? And he just, like, her jaw just drops. And so, like, he saw that and he's just like, oh, dude, they take that shit dirty. And I'm like, yeah, it's quiet time around that neighborhood. And she's just like, I can't even talk to you guys about this. And she just storms off.
It's like, you 5, get the hell away from
It
us.
just occurred to me how much trouble I could get. I haven't actually viewed this video, so who knows what might. I don't want to get the channel in trouble. We'll just leave it on a still of Hestia.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
that's nice timing, Harry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pause game on point, Harry.
You got that right. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this thing to bed because it feels like we're kind of running out of steam and we're definitely running out of viewers.
Yeah.
Any objection?
Yeah,
I'm fine. Did you get the thing?
I did.
Okay.
And to play us out, we have this little gift from Geodes.
Just remember, if you have any anger, point it at Geodes.
Yeah. If you have any anger, point
Sorry,
it at Geodes.
Top right on the screen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes.
Good night, folks.
Fuck you.
Good night.